Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the special edition of, I guess you could say, Belly Up Sports. This is My name is Brian McCarthy. I am the host of the No Credentials Required podcast. It is on every Tuesday on our channel, which is No Credentials Required. You can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and on Belly Up TV on 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern. So, thanks for joining me tonight as I talk about the New York Jets, which is my favorite football team. And usually I do a Victory Monday edition, which is on my No Credentials Required channel. And this week, the Jets didn't have a game. So, this week is a relatively stress free week in terms of my fandom. Um, So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use a software that has been provided to us by a company called Quarter4. And Quarter4 is a really cool company. What they do is they do a lot of predictions, prognostications, odds making, I guess you could say. Um, and what they do is that they use a simulation. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is that I'm going to be simulating the rest of the New York Jets season. And I kind of want to do a summary of what has been happening with the New York Jets so far this year. If you haven't been watching them, if you haven't been paying close attention to the New York Jets this year, and yep, thanks, Mike, I appreciate you. What you can see it's been kind of a special season so far for the New York Jets. Nobody could predict it. And I think about the beginning of the season when, actually, I think about beforehand when the schedules came out. And I had dunked on. Oh, there's Tagalong. They had Tagalong. That's my cat. He's my mascot. He's usually on with me on on uh, live streams for No Credentials Required. So anyway, so coming into the season, the schedules come out. The draft happens, and they have a magical draft. Absolute knockout of a draft. Anywhere they could have addressed, they addressed. Those positions they addressed. They addressed quarterback. They addressed wide receiver. They addressed defensive line. They did all that in the first round, and then they went for more. They add running back in Breece Hall. They add depth at tight end. They add depth at offensive tackle. They add depth at defensive tackle. They didn't necessarily need to, but they did that. Then the schedule will come out, and just about every prognosticator, um, named not named, well, actually named Brady Quinn, but a lot of prognosticators like him came out and was saying, "Oh, the New York Jets they're gonna be 1-8 or even 0-9 by the time week 9 by the time their bye week gets here. They might not even win 5 games." Well, the over under for this year, set by a lot of odds makers, was 5.5 games. The Jets are 6-3 at this point in the season, and Jets fans like myself very excited, very happy, and we're hoping that they can get a playoff berth. And I predicted last week. I made a very hot take last week on my live stream that there could be two representatives representing the New York media market on February 13th in Glendale, Arizona. And one of those New York teams is not the Buffalo Bills. It might be the New York Jets. That's how special of a season this is. Now, I just want to warn you, for my fellow New York Jets fans out there, let's not get cocky. Let's not get cocky. This is a lot higher than expected in terms of wins, in terms of performance. I know the offense has got to get going. I know with Breece Hall going down with an injury, that was a stomach punch. That could have been a stomach punch, but it hasn't been that way. They beat Denver, they lost against New England, and they beat Buffalo. Also, you see Buffalo's going on kind of a slide right now, but the Jets have a pretty, I wouldn't say easy schedule the rest of the way, but I would say it's a mixed bag of sorts. You've got, and this is going for the rest of the season. So next week they're in New England, and a lot of Jets fans, myself included, think this is the final hurdle that the Jets need to jump to become what they're supposed to, what they've been built to be. And I think if the Jets show up in New England and they completely I wouldn't say completely decimate, but they win in New England, that's gonna keep their trajectory going higher. A lot of excuse me, my itching in my ear. A lot of how do I put this? A lot of pundits and prognosticators didn't have me going here so far this year. So, well, but again, a lot of you didn't expect the Jets to be in the top 10 of a lot of power rankings, and here they are. A lot of power rankings in the top 10. I mean, they could crack top 5 if they beat New England. So, they got New England next week, then they're back home against Chicago, then they're at Buffalo, at Minnesota, at Buffalo, then they're at home against Jacksonville, and then finally they end two the last 2 games of the season in January are in Seattle, where they don't do very well, and they're at Miami, which could be a revenge game for the Dolphins, or it could be one of 3 things. It's either a revenge game for the Dolphins, it's a possible Jets division win. The Jets could win their first division title in 20 years, or it could be a fight for the final wild card spot. I mean, right now, the wild cards, all the wild card spots are occupied by AFC East teams. Miami's number 1 in the division right now, but then at number 5 seeded in the wild card is the Jets. Number 6 is Buffalo. Number 7 is New England. So right now, if the season were to end today, the Jets would play at Baltimore in the wild card round, which is absolutely positively wild. So let's go through the schedule, and if you had a chance to watch the this simulation that Brad from uh, Unbearable Sports uh, used back in June, I want to say August. He had a chance to use it first, and if you saw the schedule, if you saw the show, they were let's put it this way, we were a lot of us in the chat were dunking on the Bears because this prognostication of the Bears going, I think, 11-5 or 11-6, and right now they're definitely not headed towards 11-6 unless they win, unless they no, they're definitely not going to 11-6. Right now they're sitting at 3-7, but let's take a look at the simulation for the New York Jets for the rest of the season. And I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Let me go ahead and do that. Screen. I can share my system audio. Even though there's really not much of audio. So we do Quarter4 on demand. We'll share this bad boy. And Mike Brown, one of the co-founders of Belly Up Sports, using the Belly Up, using the Belly Up YouTube channel. He's saying, "Go Lions!" And hey, big win for the Lions yesterday. That's 2 in a row for them. They beat the Packers and they beat the Bears. So cheers to you. By the way, I'm drinking a Northray Brewing Obituary. It's an oatmeal stout with cocoa or coffee, excuse me. Made with Death Wish Coffee, another local coffee place. So cheers to everyone watching, all one of you. Appreciate y'all watching. Cheers to you. All right, so let's get this simulation started. I just actually want to shout out real quick. Just 1 second. Okay, let's do this. Let me go ahead and I've had a chance to play the software. It's a bit quirky. I like quirky though. Quirky's good. So why don't we go ahead and we'll get our first matchup going. So the away team is the New York Jets. And I promise I'm going to try to get us out of here by the time Monday Night Football starts. Home team, New England Patriots. Now, one thing they have on here is that they have the roster injured, inactive, transfer from another team. So what I can't do is that see Brees Hall is out, he's injured. I can't I can't remove him from the roster unless we make a baseline simulation. So what I have to do first is I have to simulate the game before I do any sort of roster changes. So let me go ahead and simulate this game. And it's gonna clash. I'll make some sound effects. And we have the Jets at a 70.2% chance of winning. Now, again, this is not a reflection of whether or not the Jets will win. Again, this is for simulation. What we saw, we all if you watched it, you all saw what happened with Unbearable Sports, and I think they're the ones who I think they doomed the Bears season by doing the simulation. Hopefully, I'm not doing the Jets rest of the Jets season by doing the simulation. But right now, the Jets are a 70.2% favorite for this game. Now, I'm going to create a second simulation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Joe Flacco because on this simulation, on the first simulation, it had him listed as a starting quarterback. He is no longer the starting quarterback. He is now on the practice squad. So I'm going to remove Joe Flacco. We're going to remove Brees Hall. It hurts my heart to do that. We'll remove Nick Bowden. We'll remove Max Mitchell. I understand he's back at practice this week, so awesome for the O-line depth. We're going to remove Elijah Vera Tucker. We're going to remove George Fant. We're going to remove Mekhi Becton. We even might remove, well, I'm going to keep Corey Davis in. He's day to day. He might come back this week, so hopefully he'll come back this week. In Sheldon Rankins, he's currently inactive. He's out 3 to 4 weeks with a elbow dislocation he suffered against the Bills. So on the Patriots side, I'm going to remove Brian Hoyer. We're going to remove Christian Wilkerson. We'll remove Corey Davis. We'll remove Joanne Williams. We'll remove Ronnie Perkins, Marcus Cannon, Brian Ray, and we'll keep it that way. All right, so we've got all the injured and inactive players removed from the system, removed from each team. So we're going to do another simulation. That's my simulation noise. And now who are we going to come up with? We've got a. Actually, the Jets odds improved 2 points. So I'm gonna write this down for the record. So right now, we did the first simulation. It had I removed 7 players from the Jets side. 8 players from the Jets side. Actually, I removed 9 players. No, 8 players. Sorry. 8 players from the Jets side, all inactive. I removed 7 players from New England side, and actually the Jets' chances of winning went up 2%. So we've got the Jets. If the simulation holds true, with the Jets at 7-3 with a win in New England. And belly up, Kev, thanks for chiming in with the Matty P calling play 72.2% win chances insulting. Hey, any given Sunday, man. Any given Sunday. This could, well, the Jets could win, the Jets could lose. Let's see. We'll see. So right now, New York Jets 72.2% chance of winning this game. We're gonna reset everything. We'll go to the next matchup. So the away team is the Bears. The Bears. And the home team is your New York Jets. And by the way, it's another blackout game. So hopefully this blackout game with the Jets winning, if they win this one, it'll be 1-1. Chit Rodriguez says, "Wonder what happens if Mac Jones is quarterback." Actually, that's what happens if Mac Jones is quarterback. That's the simulation. That's what happens. It has not only Mac Jones but also Bailey Zappi at quarterback. So it's like I said, it doesn't it just has the lineups current lineups, or they don't have current lineups. They have him from the beginning of the season. They don't have the. They're not going by depth chart. They're not going by. They're not going by that. They're just going by who's on the roster. So, Bears the away team, New York Jets the home team. We're going to do a baseline simulation before we remove all the inactives. So let's go ahead and simulate. And what do we got here? Right now, the Jets have a 59.3% chance of winning. But again, this is with the rosters that were provided by Quarter4. Let's do another simulation, and we're going to remove all inactive. Wow, the kill Harry's in the Bears. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're going to get rid of Lucas Patrick. We're going to get rid of Doug Kramer, Javius Simmons, Dakota Dozier, who's one-time New York Jet. All right, we'll get rid of Joe Flacco. We'll get rid of Bruce Hall. It's not hard to say that. Nick Bowden, goodbye. Max Mitchell, goodbye. Greg Sinnett, goodbye. ABT, George Fant, Mekhi Becton, and Sheldon Rankins. Let's do this again. Here we go. Another simulation. Gotcha. Saw Zappy wasn't on there. Wasn't sure. Good stuff, man. Oh, thanks, Chet. Appreciate you watching. I really do appreciate it. All right. So with the simulation, it actually drops the Jets down 2.4%, but they still have a 56.8% chance of winning against the Bears. Now, we're not taking into account advanced stats like the nerdy stats from from Amazon. I know the fact that the Jets don't do well against more mobile quarterbacks. They obviously struggled against Lamar Jackson. They struggled against Josh Allen, and now Fields. Justin Fields is now a more mobile quarterback. Aberflus has done a pretty outstanding job in having him be more mobile, but at the same time, the Bears' offensive line is hot garbage. It's hot garbage right now. So here we are, another win for the Jets. So this is definitely a streak. So now we're at 8-3, going into Minnesota, and the Jets will travel to Minnesota for a Sunday game. We're going to reset. We're going to do a. We're going to clear the board here. I'm hoping at some point during the year, whether it be against Minnesota or it be against Buffalo, I'm hoping it's against Minnesota because, and the reason why, and sorry, I'm getting off track here. So if they flex this game, the Jets don't have a flex game. The only time they play at night, or they play in the evening, is on December 22nd it's a Thursday night game against Jacksonville. That's a very winnable game, considering it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're perpetually in the top 10 of the draft every year. But what if they flex? What if they flex this game against the Vikings? From what I understand, I think that night is Dallas and Indianapolis, and it could be an intriguing matchup for NBC to keep. But let's see what the NFL says. So right now it's a 1:00 game in Minnesota. So let's do our baseline predictions. We'll bring up the New York Jets as the away team. The home team is going to be the Minnesota Vikings. Don't you know? We're going to go ahead and do a baseline simulation. This is pretty cool software. I had a chance to play with it beforehand and before we did this production. It's pretty neat. And the result is, I need a drum roll. I need a drum roll effect. So here we go. It's a little slow at the moment. So let's do the baseline simulation. This is the longest simulation I've had so far. All right, so the baseline simulation has the Jets winning, gives the Jets a 56.4% chance of winning. So, but again, this is baseline based on Joe Flacco starting and Kirk Cousins being in the starting lineup. Same with Zach Wilson. But let's do our new simulation. and we'll remove all these players. So again, we'll remove Joe Flacco. He's in the practice squad. We'll remove Brees Hall. Where's my heart rate? I have to remove Bowden, Mike Mitchell, Greg Snett. Because this is all pending whether or not these players are going to be inactive or injured by the time we get to week 13. So Rankins is gone. On this side, we'll move Karen Dantzler, Lewis Seen, Todd Chandler, Jesse Johnson, Thomas Hennigan. And now we do our secondary simulation. And actually, the Jets' chances go up 3%. So 59.4%. You remove all those players, and they still wind up taking the win. Minnesota, I don't discount them as a bad team. They have a lot of close wins this year. But you got to figure the Vikings offense is going against the arguably the best secondary in the National Football League right now. Sauce Gardner right now is a runaway candidate for defensive rookie of the year. DJ Reed is having an outstanding season. This New York Jets front four is eating. They're eating quarterbacks right now. Not literally, but figuratively speaking. So right now we got the Jets at 9-3. Going in to Buffalo next week. Let's go to the board. We'll bring him back. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. Let's do our baseline simulation. We got a 4-game winning streak coming into this game. Coming into this game, folks. Let's do our baseline simulation. Matt from the Corner Booth podcast says, flex that Vikings game because it's in prime time, Jets by 7. Absolutely. That's why I want that game flex. And 53.2% chance of winning in Buffalo. That's going to be a difficult game because it's in Buffalo, it's in December, and you don't know what kind of weather is going to be going on. Now, this game might be flexed too. This game might be flexed. They don't flex. The NFL doesn't flex the previous week's game. I bet you they flex this game. Reason being is because Kansas City's at Denver, and we've had enough of the Denver Broncos in prime time this season to last us a while because the Broncos are terrible. The Broncos are just they're hot garbage, toxic hot garbage, from what I understand. But we can't just do one simulation. We have to do a second simulation. So we gotta get rid of these players. So we gotta get rid of Joe Flacco, get rid of Brees Hall, Nick Bowden, Max Mitchell, Greg Sinnett. And this is presuming that none of these players come back. These are all. I mean, AVT's out for the year. Brees is out for the year. I understand that. And Mekhi Becton, he's out for the year. George Fant, Sheldon Rankins gone. Marquez Stevenson, Micah Hyde, Tommy Doyle, Jamison Crowder, former New York Jet. All right. So we've got all of our inactives or injured removed. Let's simulate. You have 5 minutes till Monday Night Football starts. We're going to try to get out of here, folks. And let's roll that bean footage. And the Jets' chances go up 3%. So here we are, 10-3. And I presume at this point they are atop the AFC East going into week 15 against the Detroit Lions. So let's reset the board. Away team, the Detroit Lions. What the Jet fans think on Denzel Mims? I like that his attitude has improved. And he's not pouty and he's not whining. I know during the preseason he wanted to trade, he wanted out. Oh, Monday Night Football already started. Oh, I'm an idiot. Monday Night Football already started. Eagles already scored. Yeah, I got the notification on my phone that Jalen Hurts scored a rushing touchdown. One of my fantasy squads. So All right. So yeah, I was saying that Denzel Mims, he's becoming a team player, which is awesome. And Matt agrees with me. He says Denzel Mims stock up. I think we'll see a lot more of him going into the rest of the season. Um, Regarding Elijah Moore, I'm hoping that his attitude reflects uh, what Denzel Mims is putting out right there. And Denzel Mims is doing a good job. Doing blocking, doing catching the key passes, and a big catch last week on third and short in Bills territory against the Bills. That was a huge catch, and that kept that drive going. All right, so baseline simulation, Lions and Jets. Let's do this. I'm gonna take a sip of my obituary. And thanks, and folks who are watching and commenting in chat. Appreciate you guys. And 59% New York Jets win. And again, we can do a second simulation. Let's get rid of all these. Let's dispose of all these players. So DJ Chark, Jameson Williams. And I don't know if Jameson Williams, Mike, if you're watching, is Jameson Williams coming back this season? He's going to play maybe later in the season. All right, Tracy Walker the third, Bobby Price, he gone, Craig Reynolds, who sounds more like a baseball player. I'm not going to pronounce that first name. Vi Ty, Tommy Kramer, because Cephas, Levi, Levi O. Okay. All right. On the Jets side, we're going to dispose of Joe Flacco, Brees Hall, Bowden, Max Mitchell, Greg Sinnett, CBT, George Fant, Malachi Becton, Sheldon Rankins. All right. Baselines down. Nation. Go. Staying around December. Okay, so we might see Jameson Williams in this game. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. And it relatively well it goes well. The Detroit's chances only go up 2.2%, but the Jets are showing as the better team, 56.7%. All right, so we'll count this as a win. Jets are 11-3, going into their Christmas match, well, Christmas-ish match against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's reset the board. And again, these simulations are not what's going to happen. This is just simulations. Just want to give you guys a warning. These are simulations. These don't reflect what's going to happen the rest of the season. I'm just going by what quarter 4 is giving me. So, Jacksonville Jaguars is the New York Jets home finale for 2022. And we'll do our baseline simulation. Baseline simulation, go. Take one more sip of this obituary. This is outstanding beer. If you happen to love stouts, and you can find Northway Brewing in your area, get yourself some of that. Oh, look at this. 63.6%. This is going to be a slaughter, according to the simulator. But let's do another simulation. We're going to get rid of Shaq Griffin, Clavon Chiasson, Brent Barch, Jordan Smith, and then we'll go through again. No Joe Flacco, no Brees Hall, no Nick Bowden, no Max Mitchell, no Greg Sinnett, no AVT, George Fant, Mekhi Becton, and lastly, Sheldon Rankins. All right, here we go. Resimulate in 3, 2, 1. Let's get the simulation going. And actually, the Jets' chances of winning down 2.1%, but still a win in my book. 12-3. And they send the Jets home crowd happy Christmas for the New York Jets. Now, remember last year, the Jets beat Jacksonville with basically half a roster and no coach. Because I think maybe a quarter of the squad had the Rona, as did Robert Saleh. And Ron Middleton had to coach that game, and then went up being the Jaguars by I think 3. It's a close game. It was a I could have decided this game actually could have decided whether the Jets were picking 4 or 3. And Jets wound up winning, and Jacksonville wound up getting the first overall pick, and the Jets wound up getting Sauce Gardner. Best win imaginable. All right, week 17, the New York Jets, your New York Jets, travel to the West Coast and play Seattle Seahawks. This game is going to be tough because the Jets haven't won. I don't think the Jets have won a regular season game in Seattle since the 1990s. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like. Watching on Facebook, give us a like. Watching on Twitter, give us a heart. Helps improve our algorithm for Belly Up Sports. Um, it would help. All right, simulating in 3, 2, 1. And Seattle Seahawks up. The screen's broken. 12-4. So the New York Jets are are in this simulation. The New York Jets lose. Um, the Seattle Seahawks are not. There's a 54.2% chance that the New York Jets will lose this game. But again, we're going to do another simulation, and we'll move players. So Joe Flacco, Brees Hall, Nick Bowden, Jeff Smith, UT, George Fant, Becton, Taylor Rankins. Let's get rid of Drew Lock because Clay Thompson, Rashad Penny's done for the year. Isaiah Dunn's I believe done for the year. Jamal Adams definitely done for the year. Josh Johnson, Daryl Johnson, Colin Gillespie, Ben Burr-Kirven, Tyler Ott, Freddie Swain, Tyreek Smith, and last but not least, Alton Robinson. Let's simulate round 2 in 3, 2, 1. And what do we got? So Seattle's chances actually go down 3.1%, but they still projected to win this game. So let's imagine for a second, New York Jets are 12-4 at this point in the season. This is a 7-game swing, 6 or 7. It's actually a 6 or 7 game swing from what they were predicted to do on at the beginning of the season when their schedule came out. So 12-4, I probably say that they're still at the top of the AFC East at this point. We don't know. Again, this is all simulation. This is just prognostication. Doesn't mean this is going to actually happen. It'd be great if it happened, but it may not. All right, so Jets are 12-4 at this point. Let's clear the board. We're going to go to our final regular season matchup. They're at Miami. So if the Jets don't win, if the Jets aren't at 12 wins at this point, it's a 1:00 game in Miami. And if you watched early in the season when they had that god awfully hot day uh, in Miami at Joe Robbie Stadium, yes, I'm still calling it Joe Robbie Stadium. I don't care. That really hot day, the Buffalo Bills were wilting because they were on the side of the field where Don Shula had the sun shine upon the other players. And I'm sure he's laughing in purgatory right now. All right, I'm just joking. I don't know if he's in purgatory. Could be in hell. So New York Jets away team, Miami Dolphins. They're the home team. Let's go ahead and do our initial baseline simulation in 3, 2, 1. Matt saying I'd cry actual tears if we won 12 games and hosted a playoff game. I would too. Okay. So this has the initial baseline has the Jets losing, have a 51.3% chance of losing. So let's go ahead and do our secondary simulation. Our new simulation will get rid of this player, this player, this player, this player, this player. Boom, boom. And Sheldon Rankins, Trill Williams, Brandon Jones, Nick Needham, John Lovett, Liam Eichenberg, Adam Shaheen, Sethan Carter, Manuel Ogba, Trey Flowers, Porter Gustin. All right, so 9 players gone from the Jets, 10 players gone from the Dolphins. Simulation part 2 in 3, 2, 1. Hey, Spencer Coleman, thanks for the like on Facebook. Do appreciate you. Not really much of a change. So the Jets are actually the Jets' chance of winning went down 0.4%, and the Jets at this point are at 12-5. I'm writing this down for posterity. 12-5, playoff spot. At this point, the playoff spot, they probably win the East. They probably win the AFC East, and either they'll be a number 2 or 3 seed at this point, depending on what Kansas City does. Because if I'm honest, actually I am honest. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think there's a team in this entire conference outside of Kansas City, and maybe Cincinnati, that the Jets can't beat. And I'm not being cocky. Yeah, I don't want to be cocky. I don't want to be braggadocious, but the way this team has been playing, especially with the losses of ADT, with the loss of Breece Hall, barring any other catastrophic injury that happens to this Jets lineup, they stay relatively healthy. And again, Sheldon Rankins comes back soon. Max Mitchell comes back very soon. Corey Davis is day to day. Hopefully, he stays for the rest of the season. And even if Corey Davis is out of the lineup, Denzel Mims can fill in. He can fill in, and he can be a role player for this team. So right now, if the simulations hold true, the Jets are a playoff team, and I'm praying it's true. But right now, the mentality right now is 0-0. Mentality is 0-0, and it should be like that for every team. Yeah, they're 6-3 in the win. They're 6-3. They're a half game behind. Um, they're 4 game behind Miami right now, but they have the tiebreaker right now. If they just win next week, they'll be first place in the division, and I believe Buffalo, if they lose, they'll be 6-4. So we still have a ways to go. We're halfway through the season right now, the New York Jets, and people like me, people like the like Matt, like Matt from Corner Booth, like any other New York Jets fan who's out there. There's hope that the Jets can make the playoffs this year, and it all starts on Sunday against the New England Patriots. It's the final hurdle they have to jump over, and I think the rest of the season is gravy. So thanks again for joining me, all those who were in the chat, all those who give a like, all those who are going to watch the replay later. I really do appreciate you watching this simulation software. Quarter4.io. Give you guys a round of applause. Thanks for allowing people like me to use the software, and for Belly Up Sports to use the software. This is going to come in pretty handy for other things, the things other than predicting football games. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. Go to all our pages. Go to our YouTube page, go to our Facebook page, like it, follow it, Twitter, follow us on Twitter at Belly Up Sports and at Belly Up Media. Also Belly Up Football, because this is a Belly Up Football production. For me, follow me here on Twitter, Instagram, pretty universal. It's at Who Is Ryan MCC. You can find my show No Crunch Required. It's at No Creds REQ on pretty much every social media platform. That will be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Oh my gosh, my voice is changing. TikTok, Facebook.com/No Creds REQ. YouTube, it's youtube.com/ at No Creds REQ. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, me and my co-host Dustin will be talking about the NFL Week 10 No, week 9, excuse me. Sorry, I'm a number off. So NFL week 9, some other odds and ends here and there. The sports news of the week. Also have another side project. If you're a hockey fan, if you're a New Jersey fan, New Jersey Devils fan especially, uh, have another donut. It's a New Jersey Devils podcast. I encourage you to check it out. The Devils are a wagon right now, 9 wins in a row. So I'm very happy about that. But otherwise, bellyupsports.com. Check out all our stuff. All our podcasts are available there. Not just No Credentials Required, but all of our podcasts. Corner Booth Podcast, Motor City Realists, uh, Tailgate on the Quad, the MD's Belly Up Sports, MD's Fantasy Football show, F Sports. Let's do Woe Hockey. I can't name every single play podcast, but give them a follow. Give us a follow. Got lots of great things coming down the pike, and we want you to be there for it. So thanks again for watching. If you're watching live or the replay, I really do appreciate it. On behalf of Belly Up Sports, my name is Ryan McCarthy. I've been enjoying you bringing the presentation to you, and good luck the rest of the season to all your teams except for the New England Patriots. Have a great night, everybody.